Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, I've got another pistol video for you here today, and this one I suppose is a continuation of a video that we did about 6 months ago where we talked about the HK45 compact. And we got some feedback afterwards, wanting to know why we didn't talk about the full-size HK45. And to be honest with you, for a lot of these full-size handguns, I just don't automatically consider them carry guns. But never one to dismiss anything as being a good option without trying it myself. Today we're going to have a look at the full-size HK45. We're going to try to find out whether it's a decent handgun for carry, and we're going to do that in just a minute. Alright, welcome back. Thanks for being with us. If this is your first time coming to the channel, or if you've been watching our videos and you just haven't had a chance to do so, and you like our content, please consider subscribing. You can find that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner of your computer screen there, or if you're on a mobile device, you can scroll down below the video and you can subscribe that way. It's a simple thing that helps us out a whole lot and we really appreciate it. So, HK45. Once again, we covered the compact version of this handgun about 6 months ago, and just a little history. The HK45 was actually designed with the idea of replacing the M9 as far as the standard military handgun. That didn't end up being the case. Obviously, you know, in 2017, it ended up being the SIG P320 that became the new sidearm. But it was adopted by the Naval Special Warfare Command in 2011. They adopted a variant that's used for the military. So anyway, it was going to be a new military sidearm all the way around. Didn't happen that way. But you ended up with a really interesting handgun here. So we always like to start off with a little size comparison. I think this is important because, once again, I sort of began this conversation by saying that for my money, it's a little much to be a carry gun. So the first thing I want to compare this to is the full-size HK USP. And I'm doing this for a reason. If you've ever had your hands on a full-size USP, it is a big, heavy handgun. I love the way it shoots. It's a very good platform, but it is a heavy handgun. And the 45 is a little bigger than that. It's a little bulkier. The overall dimensions are slightly bigger. One of the big differences, of course, you got a little bit bigger grip. But, you know, I actually like the grip with the finger grooves on the HK45. You know, I used a hoe grip to actually add some finger grips to the USP, because in the beginning I wasn't a big fan of the flat grips. Now I can kind of take them either way. But that's the full-size USP, and if you look at the compact, it really kind of gives it some scale. When I'm carrying a HK USP compact, such as this, I feel like I'm at kind of the top end of what I comfortably can carry. I normally carry a much smaller firearm than this if I can. So if you look at the scale, how much larger the HK45 is than the compact, it really kind of brings it home for you that this is a full-size handgun. And that is going to be a consideration for you if you're looking at this as an actual carry weapon. So let's talk about the features. I'm actually really impressed with the features of this firearm. Before we get into them, let's do a quick safety check here. Our magazine is out, and you can see that we are clear and we are clear, so we have a safe handgun. So first of all, obviously, we said this is a 45 ACP handgun. It is a hammer-fired handgun, and you can see this is a 10-round capacity magazine, so 10 plus 1, 11 rounds total. I always like to kind of start from the top down, and so I'll do that again today. So as you look at the handgun, of course, the sight's the first thing you're going to look at. It does have the night sights here. These are the True Dot, And these are pretty good. I've had these on other HKs before, and I feel like that they are plenty adequate for the purpose. You've got some pronounced serrations on the front and rear. I've done this with and without gloves, and I can feel these serrations pretty easily even through a gloved hand. So that's good. You've got your Picatinny rail. If you are the type of individual that wants to put a lighter laser system on your handgun, you can certainly do that. You've got your slide release. This is a ambidextrous slide release. You can see you've got it on both sides here. As you can see, my thumb was just on the safety and decocker. On this particular handgun, they make a lot of variants with the HKs, and the HK45 does have different variants too, as far as double action only, etc. This is a double action, single action, which is really my preferred way. If I'm going to have a hammer-fired handgun, that's what I like. And one of the things that you may like, a lot of people who shoot 1911s traditionally and move to a handgun like this, they like the fact that you can cock the pistol and actually put the safety on. And in a very similar manner to a 1911, simply carry it cocked and locked. And if you need to use your pistol, you can, bring it out of the holster, drop the safety, and then you're good to go. And of course, if you just want to use that double action trigger pull for your first shot, you can do that as well. So to me, it's a very safe way of carrying a handgun, because whether you're using the safety or whether you're just using the weight of the double action trigger pull, it's good, because obviously your double action trigger pull is always going to be a lot heavier, sometimes double the single action trigger pull. So that's a very safe way to carry the gun. You have this large trigger guard. HKs tend to have these large trigger guards, and I really like that. I've got long fingers, and I like the fact that my finger can just stay here safely and drop right into the trigger if that's what I want to do. I hate small trigger guards where I'm trying to hunt and peck to find my way in there. You've got your magazine release here at the back of the trigger guard. You've got these tabs on either side. A lot of people don't like this type of magazine release. I actually like it quite a bit, but I'm used to it because I've shot a lot of HKs and I think it's nice. You've got the grip with the finger grooves built in. I have to say that from a comfort standpoint, this is absolutely amazing. The texturing in the grip is really, really nice. It's not harsh, but it's solid. You always feel like you have a good grip on the handgun. You do have interchangeable back straps here, different sizes, so you can go from small, medium, large to fit your hand. Make it more of a custom fit for you. And then once again, we talked about the magazines. You do get 2 of these 10-round steel magazines. So, you can see the overall, the fit and finish is very nice on the handgun. Another thing to mention as far as the features, if you are going to do the maintenance on this, the way this comes apart is actually pretty simple too. You see this notch right here on the front of the slide, okay? And you can see the front of your slide release. If you just bring this back to where that square is right over that point, you can push through from the back either with your finger or with a tool. And once you have it pushed forward ever so slightly, you can remove that piece. Once you remove that piece, you can slide this completely off. Then, of course, once you have the firearm apart, you can remove your spring and your rod, tip your barrel out, and do all those kinds of things that you would normally do to do your basic cleaning, maintenance on your handgun. And, of course, then that little piece, you just simply align that spot back up, and you'll put that piece right back in there, and you're good to go. So that is your feature set for the HK45 full size. So if you actually like to shoot your guns, I think that the HK45 is a handgun that you're going to enjoy quite a bit. We all have handguns that spend more time in the safe than they do on the range. But if you buy an HK45, it'll be kind of a shame if you don't take it out and shoot it. And the reason I say that is I have a lot of 45 handguns. I like the 45 ACB cartridge quite a bit. And, you know, I have HKs, Glocks, 1911s, and with the exception of some of my nicer, higher-end 1911s, the HK45 handles the 45 ACP cartridge better than anything else that I've shot. And it has to do with, you know, good components. It's a good balance. You know, it's a good grip. It's really easy to get a really good, stable grip on this handgun, and the handgun performs really well. For the purpose of this test, I used ammo that I'm pretty comfy and familiar with. I've got a ton of this Winchester white box, this 230 grain. No problems with this. It liked it just fine. Also have some of the Blazer 45 auto. This is also 230 grain, full metal jacket. No issues. As far as defensive ammo, I pretty much don't test any handgun without putting the Zig V-Crown through it, just because it's a round that I like. And I don't ever seem to have any problem. Even finicky handguns seem to like this ammunition pretty well. And of course, my old standby, the Spear Gold Dot. I really, really like this ammunition as well. No feeding issues, no performance issues whatsoever. When I first got this handgun, I pulled this out of the box, and I immediately just started shooting the white box Winchester 45, and I never had any failures. I never had any problems whatsoever, and I didn't even bother to clean the gun before I shot it the first time. And usually I will do that. I'll take it apart and give it a good cleaning before its first day at the range, and I thought, you know what, it's an HK. Let's just take it out and shoot it. And I did, and I was pretty impressed at how good this gun really is. And how accurate it is. You know, 45 ACP, if you have a good handgun, you know, if you have a good 1911 or another really well-made handgun, you can do some really accurate shooting with this, with the 45 ACP cartridge. I normally train defensively at 21 feet, just to, you know, kind of give myself a standard, good training distance for real world situations. But I also did some long distance shooting with this handgun, and using the full length of the range, it was just a joy to shoot and see how accurate that this firearm really is. So if you're the kind of person who really likes to shoot and you like the 45 ACP cartridge, then this pistol might be worth a look for you, because it is a lot of fun to shoot and it's extremely reliable and accurate. Well, I started off this video by talking about how the main reason I hadn't reviewed this gun up to this point was because I didn't really consider it a carry gun. It just seemed a little big. Well, unfortunately, I haven't changed my opinion about that. You know, I started off with this comparison, and I, you know, showed you how big it is compared to even the USP, you know, full-size handgun. And as far as I'm concerned, I get to a certain point with a handgun where the weight and the bulk becomes, I have a ceiling for that. And about the most I'm going to carry at any given time is going to be something like the USP Compact. And even this is going to have to be in the winter where I can dress heavier with more layers, and hide the gun a little better, because it's just a big handgun. So for something like this, conceal carry, it's just not a really good option for me. Now, just to say I did it, I did carry this concealed in a couple platforms. I have a large Galco leather, just a, you know, outside the waistband leather holster with a t-shirt and a outer shirt covering the pistol. I don't feel like that even with 2 layers of clothing that I had the pistol concealed as well as I should. As big as the firearm is, you know, there's a large amount of it still coming out of the top of the holster here, so printing was kind of an issue. I tried inside the waistband with a Alien Gear cloak tuck, and it wasn't as bad, but the overall bulk of my shirt, which you have to remember, even if you have a firearm inside the waistband and then the shirts are covering that, you still have an obvious bulge where where the waistband is sticking out further than your shirts are covering the waistband. So it's kind of hard to completely hide a really large handgun like that. Now, as far as comfort, once I had it in the holster, the weight, you know, it's heavy, but with a good belt. I I've got a couple of really good belts, including a core, which is a really super stiff, super rigid belt that'll support the thing properly. In that Alien Gear cloak tuck, it wasn't too bad because you've got, you know, 2 clips that distribute the weight. And the Galco holster, where the belt loops are a little closer together, it was okay. But once again, to me, this is a lot more firearm than I'm going to carry concealed. Now, aside from it being not comfortable for me to conceal, there's no other issues. I mean, if we were talking about an open carry situation, I mean, you know, go for it. But obviously a lot of considerations are going to be aimed toward concealed carry because that's what we're all about. And to me, I'm sure that you can do it. I'm sure there's some holster setups that make it a little bit easier. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a little too heavy and a little too uncomfortable, and it's a little too hard to hide. Overall impressions of the HK45. Well, it's a fantastic handgun. You know, HK is known for their quality. Obviously, they're not the most economical handguns made. But HK is known for their quality. They're known for attention to detail. I think this firearm has a tremendous feature set on it. I think that anyone who enjoys handguns would enjoy shooting this firearm. And of course, I would trust an HK firearm. I would readily trust my life to anything that HK makes because I think they just make phenomenally good handguns. The ergonomics are fantastic on the handgun. It feels very good to shoot. It is very easy to get familiar with this firearm from the first time that you pick it up. So I think that if you're looking for something to practice, if you're looking for something to just, you know, target, shoot, enjoy, you know, strengthen your skill set, shooting 45 ACP, home defense, defense of your property, I think it's a great choice. For me, it's not so good of a choice for concealed carry. It's just too big of a firearm for me to carry comfortably. Now, I know people who carry handguns this size, and I have people who carry handguns even bigger than this concealed, and they're happy. So this is just my opinion, but it's something to consider, and the reason I bring this up is because one of the things I try to hit on every time that we have one of these conversations is there are 3 things you just have to consider when you're looking at a concealed carry handgun. You need to have something that is accurate. It needs to be reliable, but it's got to be comfortable. If your choice is not comfortable, the chances of you actually having it on you when you leave the house are very low. That's why I'm more likely to, you know, pocket carry a 5-shot Smith & Wesson, or I'm more likely to carry my little 365 in the waistband, or Glock 36 in the waistband, or something like that. Something small enough, but a few rounds to make me feel like I do have some way to help myself if I'm in that unfortunate situation. But the more comfortable of a choice that you make, the more likely you are to have it on you. So it's a great handgun, but I don't think for most people it's going to be a practical solution because you're talking about a very large firearm. But other than that, it's a fantastic choice. It's well made, it shoots great, and it's very reliable. So you can't go wrong. Okay. Well, that is going to do it for today. We really appreciate you being with us once again, as always. We'll be back very soon with another video for you. So until that time, as always, everybody be safe out there and have a great day. Thank you very much.